When I found 3 mysterious keys hidden in my husband's personal effects after his sudden death, I thought they were just forgotten remnants of his past. But when I finally discovered what those keys unlocked, I uncovered a secret business empire worth millions that he had built without my knowledge, and realized that my quiet life as a struggling widow was about to transform into something I never could have imagined. What I found behind those locked doors did not just change my understanding of the man I married, it changed everything I believed about my own potential and gave me the power to build a legacy that would impact thousands of lives. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The morning sun filtered through the kitchen blinds of our modest 2-bedroom apartment in Cedar Falls, Iowa, casting familiar patterns across the scratched linoleum floor that had witnessed 15 years of quiet routines and careful budgeting. Elena Vasquez stirred her coffee with the same chipped spoon she had used every morning since her wedding day, watching the steam rise while mentally calculating whether she could afford both groceries and the electric bill this month. At 38, she had perfected the delicate mathematics of making insufficient income stretch to cover essential expenses, a skill that had become increasingly necessary since her husband Miguel's construction job had been reduced to part-time hours, 6 months before his sudden heart attack. The irony was not lost on Elena that she possessed a master's degree in business administration from Iowa State University, yet spent her days working as a part-time administrative assistant at the local community college for barely above minimum wage. Her education represented 2 years of night classes and weekend study sessions that she had pursued while Miguel worked overtime to support their household, dreaming of eventually starting her own consulting practice, or perhaps joining a larger corporation where her analytical skills and strategic thinking could create meaningful impact. Those dreams had been carefully folded away after graduation when the reality of student loan payments and limited local opportunities made practical survival more important than professional ambition. Miguel had been her anchor during those challenging years, working construction during the day and taking on weekend roofing projects to ensure they could afford her tuition and textbooks. He possessed the kind of steady reliability that made Elena feel secure even when their financial situation grew precarious, always finding ways to stretch their budget or pick up additional work when unexpected expenses arose. His calloused hands and sun-weathered face told the story of a man who understood that love was demonstrated through daily acts of sacrifice rather than grand romantic gestures, coming home exhausted each evening but always asking about her classes and encouraging her to pursue the business dreams that seemed increasingly impractical with each passing year. The morning routine that Elena had maintained for 3 weeks since Miguel's funeral reflected her attempt to create stability in a world that had suddenly become unpredictable and threatening. Coffee at 6:30, followed by careful review of household finances and job listings that might offer slightly better compensation than her current position. The community college provided health insurance and flexibility that allowed her to attend Miguel's medical appointments during his final months, but the salary barely covered basic living expenses, even when supplemented by Miguel's reduced construction income. Now, facing the reality of single-income survival, Elena knew that significant changes would be necessary to avoid losing the apartment that had been their home since their wedding. The stack of bills on the kitchen counter had grown thicker each day, creating a paper monument to financial stress that Elena could no longer ignore or postpone. Miguel's medical expenses had exhausted their modest savings account, while his life insurance policy provided just enough coverage to handle funeral costs and a few months of basic expenses. The construction company's worker compensation benefits had ended with his death, eliminating the income source that had enabled Elena to work part-time while managing household responsibilities. Mathematics that had been challenging but manageable with 2 incomes became impossible equations that kept Elena awake at night, calculating and recalculating scenarios that all led to the same conclusion. She needed to find better employment or face eviction within 2 months. Elena's educational background provided knowledge and confidence that her current circumstances did not reflect, creating internal tension between her understanding of business principles and her inability to apply that knowledge to improve her personal situation. She had written business plans for hypothetical companies, analyzed market opportunities in academic case studies, and earned recognition from professors who praised her strategic thinking and analytical capability. Yet translating theoretical knowledge into practical opportunity required resources, connections, and risk tolerance that seemed impossible to develop while managing survival-level financial stress and the emotional weight of recent bereavement. The community college position offered safety and familiarity that Elena found comforting during a period when everything else in her life felt uncertain and overwhelming. Her supervisor appreciated her organizational skills and attention to detail, often assigning projects that exceeded typical administrative assistant responsibilities because Elena demonstrated capabilities that suggested she could handle more complex tasks. However, the institution's limited budget and rigid classification system prevented advancement opportunities that would provide meaningful salary improvement, trapping Elena in a position that utilized only a fraction of her education and potential while providing insufficient compensation for independent survival. Local employment opportunities in Cedar Falls reflected the economic realities of a small Midwestern community where manufacturing jobs had disappeared, and service sector positions offered minimal advancement potential. Elena had submitted applications to regional corporations and considered relocating to larger cities where her business degree might command better compensation. But the practical challenges of moving without financial resources while grieving the loss of her life partner made such dramatic changes seem overwhelming rather than hopeful. The apartment contained 15 years of shared memories and represented the only stability remaining in her drastically altered circumstances. Elena's daily walks through their neighborhood provided time for reflection and planning that helped her process both grief and practical concerns without the distractions of household tasks or work responsibility. The tree-lined streets and modest homes reminded her of the simple contentment she had shared with Miguel, when their dreams focused on small improvements like replacing the aging refrigerator or perhaps taking a weekend trip to visit Miguel's family in New Mexico. Those modest aspirations seemed luxurious compared to her current focus on maintaining basic shelter and nutrition while searching for employment that could provide sufficient income for independent survival. The isolation that accompanied Elena's new circumstances extended beyond financial stress to encompass social changes that she had not anticipated during the immediate aftermath of Miguel's death. Married friends expressed sympathy and offered temporary assistance, but their busy lives and couple-focused social activities left little room for ongoing support of a newly widowed friend whose presence might remind them of their own vulnerability. Single friends from college had dispersed to other cities or developed social circles that no longer included Elena, leaving her to navigate major life transitions without the benefit of close relationships that could provide emotional support or practical guidance. Elena's evenings were spent in the apartment that had once felt cozy but now seemed empty and oversized for a single occupant, reading business journals and online articles about entrepreneurship while wondering whether her dreams of professional independence were realistic aspirations or naive fantasies that ignored the harsh realities of limited resources and market competition. The knowledge and skills she had developed through her business education remained sharp and relevant, but transforming that intellectual foundation into economic opportunity required courage and resources that felt beyond her current capability. The contrast between Elena's educational accomplishments and her current circumstances created internal conflict that alternated between self-doubt and frustrated ambition, depending on whether she focused on external limitations or internal capability. Some days brought clarity about potential strategies for career advancement or business development that could utilize her skills while addressing identified market needs. Other days brought overwhelming awareness of obstacles and risks that made continuing her current survival-focused approach seem like the only responsible choice given her precarious financial situation and emotional vulnerability. Elena understood that her current approach to employment and financial management represented temporary crisis response rather than sustainable long-term strategy. But developing and implementing more ambitious plans required emotional energy and financial resources that felt depleted by daily survival demands. The gap between her theoretical knowledge of business success principles and her practical experience of economic struggle created cognitive dissonance that challenged her self-confidence while reinforcing her determination to eventually create circumstances that better reflected her capabilities and aspirations. 3 weeks after Miguel's funeral, Elena had established routines that provided structure and purpose while she processed grief and evaluated options for financial stability and potential advancement. The morning coffee ritual marked the beginning of each day's effort to balance practical necessities with longer-term planning, maintaining hope for eventual improvement while accepting current limitations that required careful management and gradual progress rather than dramatic transformation. Elena possessed the intelligence, education, and determination necessary for significant achievement, but translating those qualities into improved circumstances would require discovering opportunities that matched her capabilities while working within the constraints that defined her current reality. The stage was set for Elena to transition from survival mode to strategic action, though she could not yet envision the extraordinary discoveries that would soon transform her understanding of both her late husband's hidden activities and her own untapped potential for creating the kind of success that had always seemed beyond her reach. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The cardboard box sitting on Elena's kitchen table contained what the Cedar Falls Police Department had classified as Miguel's personal effects from the construction site accident. 3 weeks had passed since the funeral, and Elena had postponed opening the container because facing the final remnants of Miguel's professional life felt like acknowledging a finality that she was not emotionally prepared to accept. The box represented the last connection to the man who had been her partner in building a modest but meaningful life together, and Elena understood that examining its contents would mark another step in the grieving process that required her to construct a new identity as someone other than Miguel's wife. On a gray Thursday morning in late October, when the weight of accumulated bills and employment rejection letters had created pressure that made postponement impossible, Elena finally cut through the tape that sealed Miguel's professional remains. The contents appeared routine and unremarkable at first examination: his worn leather work gloves that retained the shape of hands that had built countless structures throughout Cedar Falls and surrounding community, a metal clipboard covered with project notes written in Miguel's careful handwriting, safety equipment that bore the scuffs and scratches of years of conscientious use, and personal items that reflected a man who took pride in his craftsmanship and responsibility to his coworker. Among the expected items, Elena discovered elements that seemed inconsistent with her understanding of Miguel's work environment and responsibility. A leather portfolio that appeared expensive and sophisticated rested beneath the familiar construction tools, containing documents and materials that suggested activities beyond typical construction crew participation. The portfolio's quality indicated investment that exceeded what Miguel's construction salary could reasonably support, while its pristine condition suggested recent acquisition rather than long-term use in the demanding environment of construction site. Elena opened the portfolio with growing curiosity, discovering business cards for companies she had never heard Miguel mention during their evening conversations about work challenges and project progress. The cards represented diverse industries, including real estate development, equipment rental, financial consulting, and project management services, with several bearing Miguel's name and contact information in professional layouts that indicated established business relationships rather than casual networking contact. The accumulation of cards suggested systematic relationship building over an extended period, requiring time and energy that Miguel had never discussed as part of his professional activity. Beneath the business cards, Elena found a small notebook filled with Miguel's handwriting that documented appointments, phone numbers, and brief notes about conversations with people whose names she did not recognize. The entries spanned several months and referenced projects, investments, and business opportunities that bore no resemblance to the construction work that Miguel had described as his daily occupation. The notebook contained references to profit margins, partnership agreements, and financial projections that indicated involvement in activities requiring business knowledge and analytical skills that Miguel had never demonstrated during their marriage. The most puzzling discovery came in the form of 3 keys attached to a ring that Elena had never seen before, despite being familiar with every aspect of Miguel's daily routine and possession. The keys appeared to be for different types of locks. One resembled a standard office building key, another looked like it belonged to a storage facility or warehouse, and the third appeared designed for a residential property or apartment. Each key was labeled with numbers written in Miguel's distinctive handwriting, but the numeric codes meant nothing to Elena and provided no obvious indication of their intended use or location. Elena examined the keys with growing bewilderment, trying to reconcile their existence with her understanding of Miguel's life and activity. Her husband had been methodical and transparent about his possessions and responsibilities, maintaining organized systems for household keys, work equipment, and personal belongings that eliminated mystery or confusion about their purpose and location. The discovery of unfamiliar keys suggested areas of Miguel's life that had been deliberately concealed from Elena, creating questions about trust and communication that challenged fundamental assumptions about their marriage relationship. The fourth item in the portfolio proved most disturbing to Elena's sense of reality and security. A bank statement from an institution she had never heard of showed account activity that indicated regular deposits significantly larger than Miguel's construction wages, with balances that suggested accumulated wealth far beyond anything their household finances had reflected. The statement covered a 3-month period ending just weeks before Miguel's death, showing consistent income from sources identified only by cryptic abbreviations and account numbers that provided no clear indication of their origin or nature. Elena stared at the bank statement with growing shock and confusion, calculating that the documented deposits during the 3-month period exceeded Miguel's annual construction salary by a substantial margin. The figures indicated systematic income generation from activities that had required significant time and energy, while producing financial results that Miguel had never shared with Elena or incorporated into their household budget and financial planning. The discovery suggested that Miguel had been living a double life that included business activities and income sources completely separate from their shared domestic reality. The emotional impact of these discoveries created a disorienting mixture of grief, betrayal, and confusion that Elena struggled to process rationally. Miguel's death had already shattered her sense of security and stability, forcing her to confront financial and emotional challenges that felt overwhelming given her limited resources and support system. The revelation that Miguel had apparently maintained secret business activities and hidden substantial income introduced additional layers of uncertainty that threatened Elena's understanding of their relationship and her husband's character. Elena's initial reaction involved searching through Miguel's remaining possessions for additional evidence that might explain the portfolio contents and provide context for the unfamiliar business activity. She examined his clothing for hidden pockets or documents, searched his tools for concealed compartments, and reviewed his personal papers for references to the companies and contacts identified in the portfolio. The search revealed no additional information, suggesting that Miguel had been extremely careful to separate his construction work identity from whatever business activities had generated the documented income. The practical implications of Elena's discoveries created new questions about her financial situation that required immediate investigation and resolution. If Miguel had indeed maintained separate income sources and business relationships, those activities might represent assets or obligations that could significantly impact Elena's inheritance and financial security. The hidden bank account suggested resources that could address Elena's current financial crisis, but accessing those resources would require understanding their legal status and any associated responsibilities or complications. Elena spent the remainder of Thursday afternoon researching the companies referenced in Miguel's business cards, discovering that several represented successful enterprises involved in construction-related services throughout Iowa and neighboring states. The businesses appeared legitimate and well-established, with websites and marketing materials that indicated substantial operations requiring significant expertise and investment. Miguel's connection to these companies suggested involvement in activities far more sophisticated and profitable than typical construction crew participation. The research process revealed that Miguel had apparently positioned himself within networks of entrepreneurs and business owners who operated successful enterprises serving the construction and development industry. His business cards suggested roles that involved coordination, consultation, or partnership rather than manual labor, indicating that he had developed relationships and expertise that Elena had never suspected during their 15 years of marriage. The scope of these connections implied systematic effort over an extended period to build professional relationships and business knowledge that had remained completely hidden from Elena. Elena's investigation of the bank statement proved more challenging because accessing account information required authorization and identification that she did not possess. However, the statement header provided sufficient information to identify the financial institution and determine that the account was located in Des Moines, approximately 2 hours from Cedar Falls. The distance suggested that Miguel had deliberately chosen banking services that would minimize the likelihood of accidental discovery by Elena or other Cedar Falls residents who might recognize him. As evening approached, Elena found herself facing fundamental questions about her marriage, her financial situation, and her future options that required decisions about how to pursue the information necessary for informed action. The three mysterious keys represented the most tangible leads for understanding Miguel's hidden activities, but using them would require identifying their intended locks and accepting whatever discoveries might result from opening doors that Miguel had apparently intended to keep closed. The emotional complexity of Elena's situation created internal conflict between her desire to understand Miguel's hidden activities and her fear of discovering information that might further damage her memory of their relationship or complicate her already difficult financial circumstances. Part of her wanted to ignore the portfolio contents and focus on rebuilding her life based on the resources and knowledge she could access through conventional means. However, the potential financial implications of Miguel's secret activities made investigation necessary for both practical and emotional reasons. Elena recognized that the discoveries in Miguel's portfolio represented a call to awareness that would fundamentally alter her approach to grieving, financial planning, and personal development. The hidden business activities suggested possibilities and resources that could transform her circumstances, but accessing those possibilities would require courage to pursue uncomfortable truths and develop capabilities that she had never needed during her marriage. The choice between safety and investigation would determine whether Elena remained trapped in her current limitations or discovered opportunities that could change everything about her future prospects and potential for achievement. The weekend following Elena's discovery of Miguel's portfolio marked the beginning of what would become the most intensive research project of her life. Drawing upon the analytical skills that had earned her recognition during her MBA program, Elena approached the investigation with systematic methodology that transformed her kitchen table into a command center for uncovering the truth about her husband's hidden business empire. The process demanded intellectual rigor and emotional resilience, as she methodically documented evidence, while preparing herself for discoveries that could fundamentally alter her understanding of their marriage and her own future possibility. Elena began by creating detailed spreadsheets that cataloged every piece of information contained within Miguel's portfolio, treating each business card, notebook entry, and financial document as data points that might reveal patterns or connections when analyzed collectively. Her business education had emphasized the importance of comprehensive information gathering before making strategic decisions, and Elena recognized that understanding Miguel's hidden activities would require the same disciplined approach that successful entrepreneurs used when evaluating market opportunities or competitive landscape. The business cards revealed a sophisticated network of companies operating throughout Iowa, Nebraska, and Missouri that specialized in construction-related services, including project management, equipment rental, real estate development, and financial consulting. Elena researched each company using online resources, discovering that many had been established within the past 5 years and had experienced rapid growth during periods when Miguel's construction work had allegedly reduced his income. The timing correlation suggested that Miguel's secret business activities had actually accelerated during the same period when Elena believed their household was experiencing financial stress. Elena's investigation revealed that several companies listed Miguel as a founding partner or key consultant, positions that would have required substantial time commitment and business expertise that he had never demonstrated during their marriage. The companies operated sophisticated websites with professional marketing materials that positioned Miguel as an industry expert with extensive experience in construction management and project coordination. The professional presentations suggested systematic investment in brand development and market positioning that contradicted Miguel's image as a simple construction worker struggling with reduced hours. The notebook entries provided Elena with insights into Miguel's business development activities that revealed impressive strategic thinking and relationship management capability. The documented conversations referenced complex negotiations, partnership agreements, and financial projections that demonstrated Miguel's understanding of business principles that rivaled Elena's formal education. The notes suggested that Miguel had been systematically building a business empire while maintaining the appearance of financial struggle that had motivated Elena's career sacrifices and budget constraints. Elena discovered that Miguel had apparently used his construction industry contacts as the foundation for developing a comprehensive service network that addressed multiple aspects of large-scale development projects. His companies provided equipment rental, project management, financial consulting, and coordination services that generated substantial margins by eliminating inefficiencies in traditional construction project workflow. The business model demonstrated sophisticated understanding of industry pain points and market opportunities that suggested years of careful observation and strategic planning. The bank statements that Elena had initially discovered represented only one account among what appeared to be a complex financial structure that included multiple business entities and investment vehicles. Through careful analysis of account numbers and financial institution references in Miguel's notebook, Elena identified at least 6 different financial relationships that suggested diversified income streams and asset management strategies. The scope of financial activity indicated business operations that generated millions of dollars in annual revenue while maintaining complete separation from Elena's awareness and their household budget. Elena's research methodology included creating detailed timelines that correlated Miguel's business development activities with significant events in their marriage and personal life. The analysis revealed that Miguel had intensified his business activities during periods when Elena was focused on completing her MBA program, using her academic commitments as cover for meetings and travel that she had assumed related to construction work. The timing suggested deliberate coordination that allowed Miguel to build his business empire while avoiding questions about his schedule or activity. The emotional impact of Elena's discoveries created complex feelings that alternated between admiration for Miguel's business acumen and betrayal regarding his deception about their financial circumstance. Elena recognized that Miguel had demonstrated extraordinary entrepreneurial capabilities while maintaining perfect operational security that prevented discovery despite their intimate daily relationship. The achievement was impressive from a business perspective, but the secrecy represented a fundamental violation of trust that challenged Elena's understanding of their marriage partnership. Elena's investigation revealed that Miguel's business activities had created substantial assets that technically belonged to his estate and therefore represented potential inheritance that could transform Elena's financial situation dramatically. However, accessing those assets would require legal processes that might reveal Miguel's business activities to tax authorities, business partners, and other stakeholders who were unaware of his death. The complexity suggested that Miguel had never developed succession plans that would facilitate Elena's assumption of business control or asset transfer. The 3 mysterious keys became Elena's primary focus as she recognized that they likely provided access to physical locations where Miguel had conducted business operations or stored important documents and assets. Elena's research had identified several storage facilities, office buildings, and commercial properties that Miguel's companies had leased or owned, suggesting that the keys might unlock spaces containing additional evidence about the scope and nature of his business empire. Elena spent considerable time developing strategies for investigating the key locations without creating legal complications or alerting Miguel's business partners to his death before she understood the full implications of his business activities. The investigation would require careful planning to avoid triggering events that might jeopardize her inheritance rights or create obligations that she was unprepared to fulfill. Elena recognized that her business education provided theoretical knowledge about asset management and business succession, but practical implementation would require learning new skills and developing capabilities that her academic experience had not covered. The research process revealed that Miguel had created business relationships with individuals who possessed substantial wealth and influence throughout the Midwest construction and development industries. These relationships suggested that Miguel's business activities operated at levels that involved significant financial commitments and high-stakes decision-making that could affect numerous employees and stakeholders. Elena realized that her investigation might reveal responsibilities and obligations that extended far beyond personal financial consideration. Elena's analysis of Miguel's business model revealed innovative approaches to construction industry coordination that addressed genuine market inefficiencies while generating substantial profits through improved project management and resource optimization. The businesses appeared to provide legitimate value to customers while creating competitive advantages through superior organization and industry expertise. Elena recognized that Miguel had identified and successfully exploited market opportunities that required both technical knowledge and business sophistication. The documentation process that Elena maintained during her investigation created comprehensive records that would support legal proceedings or business decisions that might become necessary as she pursued access to Miguel's hidden asset. Elena approached the documentation with the same attention to detail that had characterized her academic work, creating systems that would enable efficient retrieval and analysis of information as her investigation progressed and new discoveries emerged. Elena's research revealed that Miguel's business activities had created value and employment opportunities throughout the region, while generating substantial personal wealth that he had chosen to conceal rather than share with Elena. The economic impact suggested that Miguel had developed into a significant regional entrepreneur whose business decisions affected numerous families and communities beyond their immediate household. The scope of influence indicated that Elena's inheritance might include not just financial assets, but also business responsibilities and community obligations. The investigation process required Elena to develop new technical skills related to business research, legal documentation, and financial analysis that extended her capabilities beyond her formal education. The learning process demonstrated Elena's capacity for rapid skill acquisition and strategic thinking under pressure, qualities that would prove essential for successfully navigating the complex business environment that Miguel had created. Elena recognized that her investigation was simultaneously preparing her for the challenges that would arise when she gained access to Miguel's business empire. Elena concluded her initial research phase with comprehensive understanding of Miguel's business activities and clear recognition that the three mysterious keys represented access to resources that could transform her circumstances completely. However, she also understood that claiming those resources would require courage to enter an unfamiliar business environment, where her decisions could affect numerous stakeholders and where mistakes might have serious legal and financial consequences. The preparation period had equipped Elena with knowledge and confidence, but the next phase would test her ability to translate preparation into effective action within Miguel's sophisticated business empire. The first key opened a commercial storage unit located in a nondescript facility on the outskirts of Des Moines, revealing a space that contradicted every assumption Elena had maintained about Miguel's financial capabilities and business sophistication. The unit contained filing cabinets filled with meticulously organized business documents, computer equipment that suggested serious technological investment, and physical assets that represented substantial capital allocation to support comprehensive business operations. The discovery confirmed that Miguel had maintained a parallel professional life that operated with efficiency and scale that rivaled established regional enterprise. Elena examined the filing cabinets with systematic precision, discovering contract portfolios that documented Miguel's role as coordinator for construction projects valued in excess of $20 million over the preceding 3 years. The contracts revealed sophisticated partnership arrangements with major regional developers, municipal governments, and commercial property owners who had relied upon Miguel's companies to manage complex logistics, coordination that traditional construction firms were unable to provide effectively. The documentation demonstrated Miguel's emergence as an essential intermediary within regional development networks that generated substantial recurring revenue streams. The technology infrastructure within the storage unit included servers, networking equipment, and specialized software systems that supported comprehensive project management capabilities for multiple simultaneous construction initiatives. Elena recognized that the technological investment represented hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment and licensing fees that enabled Miguel's companies to provide coordination services that competitors could not match without similar infrastructure investment. The technology created competitive advantages that explained how Miguel had achieved market penetration despite competing against established firms with greater resources. Elena discovered detailed financial projections that indicated Miguel's business network generated annual revenues exceeding $5 million while maintaining profit margins that substantially exceeded industry standards through operational efficiencies and strategic positioning. The projections included expansion plans that would have doubled revenue within 2 years through geographic expansion and service diversification that leveraged existing relationships and operational capability. The scope of Miguel's business vision demonstrated entrepreneurial ambition that Elena had never suspected during their marriage. The second key unlocked an office suite in a professional building that housed Miguel's administrative headquarters for coordinating the multiple business entities that comprised his construction services empire. The office space contained sophisticated communications equipment, dedicated staff workstations, and meeting facilities that supported regular client consultations and strategic planning sessions with business partners throughout the region. The professional environment indicated systematic investment in infrastructure that supported serious business operations rather than casual side projects. Elena explored the office space with growing amazement at the level of organization and professionalism that Miguel had achieved while maintaining complete secrecy about his business activity. The office contained conference rooms equipped with presentation technology, private offices for senior staff members, and administrative areas that supported comprehensive business operations, including accounting, project management, and client relations. The facility represented annual lease commitment and operational expenses that exceeded Elena's household budget by substantial margins. The office files revealed that Miguel employed a team of 12 full-time professionals, including project managers, financial analysts, administrative coordinators, and technical specialists, who supported the comprehensive service delivery that distinguished Miguel's companies from traditional construction industry participants. The employment records indicated competitive salary structures and comprehensive benefits packages that suggested Miguel's role as a significant regional employer who provided high-quality employment opportunities within specialized market segments. Elena discovered correspondence that documented Miguel's reputation within regional business communities as an innovative problem solver who could coordinate complex projects that other firms found too challenging or unprofitable to pursue successfully. The letters included testimonials from municipal officials, major developers, and commercial property owners who praised Miguel's companies for delivering superior results while maintaining cost efficiency that created value for all project stakeholders. The reputation appeared to have been built systematically through consistent performance excellence over multiple years. The third key provided access to a warehouse facility that contained equipment and inventory worth several $1 million, including specialized construction materials stockpiles and logistical assets that supported Miguel's company's ability to provide comprehensive project coordination service. The warehouse represented significant capital investment that enabled rapid response to client needs, while maintaining inventory levels that ensured project timeline adherence, regardless of market supply chain disruption. Elena toured the warehouse facility with comprehensive understanding that Miguel had created vertically integrated business operations that controlled multiple aspects of construction project delivery through strategic asset ownership and operational coordination. The warehouse contained equipment that could be deployed rapidly to support emergency project needs, materials inventory that enabled immediate response to supply chain delay, and transportation assets that provided logistical flexibility that competitors dependent upon subcontractors could not match reliably. The warehouse operations included sophisticated inventory management systems, scheduled maintenance programs for equipment assets, and staff coordination that supported 24-hour operational capability when project requirements demanded rapid response. Elena recognized that the warehouse operations alone represented business value that exceeded several $1 million, while generating recurring revenue through equipment rental and materials supply to clients throughout the region. Elena's exploration of Miguel's business facilities revealed comprehensive understanding of construction industry and efficiencies, and systematic development of solutions that created substantial value for clients while generating exceptional profit margins through operational excellence and strategic positioning. Miguel had identified market gaps that established companies had failed to address effectively and had developed integrated service delivery that captured value across multiple aspects of construction project coordination. The business model that Elena discovered demonstrated Miguel's sophisticated understanding of regional economic development patterns and strategic positioning to capture opportunities created by infrastructure investment and commercial development throughout Iowa and neighboring states. Miguel's companies provided essential coordination services that enabled larger development projects while maintaining flexibility to adapt to changing market conditions and emerging opportunities within regional construction markets. Elena recognized that Miguel's business empire represented extraordinary achievement that had been built through systematic effort, strategic thinking, and operational excellence that demonstrated capabilities far beyond anything she had suspected during their marriage. The scope and sophistication of the business operations indicated that Miguel had developed into a significant regional entrepreneur whose success created employment opportunities and economic value that extended far beyond personal financial gain. The discovery process revealed that Miguel's business activities had positioned him as an essential participant within regional development networks that included major corporate stakeholders, municipal governments, and financial institutions throughout the Midwest. The relationship suggested that Miguel's companies had achieved market position that would be difficult for competitors to replicate without similar investment in infrastructure, technology, and relationship development over extended periods. Elena understood that inheriting Miguel's business empire would provide access to resources and opportunities that could transform her circumstances dramatically while creating responsibilities that would require rapid learning and capability development to manage effectively. The business represented ongoing operations that supported numerous employees and served important clients who depended upon continued service delivery regardless of ownership, transitions that might result from Miguel's death. The comprehensive nature of Miguel's business operations indicated that successful inheritance would require Elena to develop leadership capabilities, strategic decision-making skills, and industry knowledge that extended far beyond her academic business education. However, Elena also recognized that the business infrastructure that Miguel had created provided foundation for continued success that could support her development while generating substantial financial returns that would enable expanded impact and achievement. Elena concluded her exploration of Miguel's business facilities with clear understanding that she had inherited not just assets, but an entire business ecosystem that represented millions of dollars in value, while creating positive economic impact throughout the region. The opportunity was extraordinary but would require courage, dedication, and rapid capability development to claim successfully while maintaining the operational excellence that had enabled Miguel's remarkable achievement within highly competitive construction industry market. Standing in the warehouse facility that represented the culmination of Miguel's business empire, Elena faced the most consequential decision of her life. The evidence surrounding her documented systematic achievement that exceeded her most ambitious dream, yet claiming this inheritance would require her to abandon the safety of her modest circumstances and assume responsibilities that could affect dozens of employees and millions of dollars in ongoing business commitment. The choice before Elena represented the fundamental question that defines every entrepreneur's journey: whether to accept extraordinary opportunity despite uncertain outcomes and significant personal risk. Elena's business education provided frameworks for evaluating strategic decisions, but the theoretical models seemed inadequate for assessing a choice that would fundamentally alter her identity, financial circumstances, and professional trajectory within a matter of weeks. The inheritance represented immediate access to resources that could eliminate her financial stress while providing opportunities for impact and achievement that exceeded anything she had previously considered possible. However, the business operations also involved complex legal obligations, competitive pressures, and stakeholder relationships that required expertise and confidence that Elena was uncertain she possessed. The employee roster that Elena had discovered in Miguel's office files revealed 12 professionals whose livelihoods depended upon continued business operations and effective leadership during the ownership transition period. These individuals had families, mortgages, and career aspirations that would be directly affected by Elena's decision to either claim her inheritance and provide continuity, or liquidate the assets and pursue less ambitious alternatives. The human impact of her choice extended far beyond personal considerations to encompass community members who had built their professional security around employment with Miguel's company. Elena's analysis of the business financial statements indicated that Miguel's companies generated sufficient cash flow to support comfortable personal income while funding continued expansion and providing competitive compensation for all employees. The profit margins suggested that successful management could produce annual personal income that exceeded Elena's previous household budget by substantial multiples, while maintaining reinvestment levels that would ensure sustainable growth and market competitiveness. The financial opportunity represented generational wealth creation that could support Elena's family for decades, while creating positive economic impact throughout the regional construction industry. The competitive landscape analysis that Elena had conducted during her research phase revealed that Miguel's companies occupied unique market positions that would be difficult for competitors to replicate without substantial time and capital investment. The integrated service delivery model, technological infrastructure, and established client relationships created sustainable competitive advantages that suggested continued profitability, even if Elena's initial management efforts were imperfect. The business foundation that Miguel had created provided margin for learning and adaptation that reduced the risk associated with Elena's inexperience in construction industry management. Elena recognized that her MBA education had provided theoretical knowledge about business strategy, financial management, and organizational leadership that aligned directly with the challenges she would face as the new owner of Miguel's company. While her academic preparation had never contemplated application within construction industry contexts, the fundamental principles of effective management remained consistent across different sectors. Elena understood that her analytical capabilities and strategic thinking skills represented relevant preparation for the leadership responsibilities that would accompany her inheritance. The legal complexities associated with claiming Miguel's business assets required consultation with attorneys who specialized in business succession and estate planning to ensure proper transfer of ownership while maintaining operational continuity. Elena had identified legal professionals through her research who possessed relevant expertise and could provide guidance about the procedural requirements for assuming control of Miguel's company. The legal process would involve disclosure of Miguel's business activities to various stakeholders, but Elena understood that transparency was necessary for legitimate ownership transfer. Elena's consideration of alternative approaches to her inheritance revealed several options that would provide financial benefits while minimizing management responsibilities and business. She could liquidate the business assets and invest the proceeds in conventional financial instruments that would provide income security without operational demand. Alternatively, she could recruit experienced construction industry professionals to manage daily operations while retaining ownership and strategic oversight roles that would leverage her business education without requiring detailed industry expertise. The emotional complexity of Elena's situation evolved processing grief about Miguel's deception, alongside excitement about the opportunities that his hidden activities had created. Elena struggled with feelings of betrayal regarding Miguel's secrecy while recognizing that his business success demonstrated admirable entrepreneurial capability and strategic thinking. The discovery process had revealed aspects of Miguel's character that Elena had never suspected, creating cognitive dissonance between her understanding of their marriage relationship and the evidence of Miguel's extraordinary professional achievement. Elena's support system consultation evolved discussing her discoveries with trusted advisors who could provide perspective about the risks and opportunities associated with claiming her inheritance. She contacted former professors from her MBA program who possessed relevant business expertise and could offer guidance about the practical challenges of assuming leadership in an unfamiliar industry. The conversations provided encouragement about Elena's capabilities while acknowledging the significant learning curve that would accompany her transition from an administrative assistant to business owner. The timing considerations that influenced Elena's decision included recognition that Miguel's business operations required immediate attention to maintain client relationships and prevent competitive encroachment during the ownership transition period. Delay in asserting control could result in employee departures, client defections, and operational disruptions that would diminish the value of her inheritance, while creating unnecessary complications for eventual assumption of leadership responsibility. Elena understood that decisive action would be necessary to preserve the business value that Miguel had created. Elena's risk assessment process involved systematic evaluation of potential negative outcomes alongside the probable benefits of claiming her inheritance. The worst-case scenarios included business failure that could result in financial losses, legal complications, and professional embarrassment that would leave Elena in circumstances worse than her current situation. However, Elena recognized that Miguel's business operations possessed sufficient stability and market position to support gradual learning and capability development that would minimize the likelihood of catastrophic failure. The personal growth opportunities associated with claiming Elena's inheritance extended beyond financial considerations to encompass professional development that would utilize her education while building expertise in areas that could support lifelong career advance. Successfully managing Miguel's companies would provide practical experience in business leadership, strategic planning, and industry operations that would enhance Elena's credentials and create opportunities for continued achievement, regardless of her long-term involvement with the construction industry. Elena's decision framework ultimately centered on fundamental questions about her personal values, risk tolerance, and aspirations for impact that extended beyond individual financial security. She could choose the safety of her current circumstances and pursue gradual improvement through conventional employment advance, or she could accept the challenge of claiming extraordinary opportunity that would require rapid capability development and assumption of significant responsibility. The choice represented the defining moment that would determine whether Elena's future would be characterized by security or achievement. After extensive analysis and consultation, Elena reached the conclusion that Miguel's business empire represented the opportunity of multiple lifetimes that demanded acceptance despite the associated risks and challenges. Her business education had prepared her with relevant knowledge. Her analytical capabilities provided foundation for effective decision-making, and her personal circumstances created motivation for significant achievement that conventional employment could never satisfy. Elena understood that claiming her inheritance would require courage and dedication, but the potential for transformational impact justified the effort and uncertainty involved. Elena's commitment to pursuing her inheritance involved acceptance of the reality that success would require rapid learning, strategic decision-making under pressure, and leadership of people whose expertise exceeded her own in technical areas. However, she recognized that business success depended more upon strategic thinking, relationship management, and systematic execution than upon detailed technical knowledge that could be acquired through consultation with industry experts. Elena possessed the analytical capabilities and strategic orientation that would enable effective coordination of technical expertise while maintaining focus on overall business objectives and stakeholder value creation. Elena's transition from decision to implementation, began on a Monday morning that would forever mark her transformation from administrative assistant to business executive. Armed with comprehensive documentation of her inheritance rights and accompanied by legal counsel who specialized in business succession, Elena arrived at Miguel's office headquarters to formally assume ownership of the construction services empire that had operated in complete secrecy during her marriage. The moment represented not merely a change in business ownership, but Elena's declaration that she possessed the capability and determination to succeed in an environment that had never witnessed female leadership at the executive level. The first challenge Elena encountered involved establishing credibility with Miguel's senior staff members, who possessed years of industry experience and had developed systematic operational procedures that ensured consistent service delivery to demanding clients. Elena understood that these professionals had built their careers around trust in Miguel's leadership and strategic vision, making the ownership transition a critical test of whether business operations could maintain effectiveness under fundamentally different management approaches. Elena's success would depend upon her ability to demonstrate respect for existing expertise while asserting appropriate executive authority that would maintain organizational focus and accountability. Elena convened her initial leadership meeting with the 12 senior staff members who comprised Miguel's management team, approaching the session with careful preparation that would establish her competence while acknowledging the knowledge gaps that she needed to address through collaboration and accelerated learning. Elena Azedna presented comprehensive analysis of the business operations that she had conducted during her research phase, demonstrating thorough understanding of financial performance, client relationships, competitive position, and operational challenges that required ongoing attention and strategic coordination. The management team's initial response to Elena's presentation revealed cautious optimism combined with realistic concerns about her inexperience in construction industry operations and client relationship management. Elena addressed these concerns directly by acknowledging her learning requirements, while emphasizing her commitment to maintaining operational excellence and strategic growth that would preserve employment security and advancement opportunities for all team members. Elena established clear communication protocols that would enable rapid consultation and collaborative decision-making during her transition period, while maintaining accountability structures that ensured consistent performance standards. Elena's first strategic initiative involved comprehensive review of all client contracts and project commitments to ensure complete understanding of service delivery obligations and revenue projections that would guide immediate operational priority. The contract analysis revealed that Miguel's companies maintained ongoing obligations to complete projects valued in excess of $15 million over the subsequent 6 months, requiring coordinated effort that would test Elena's ability to maintain operational effectiveness while implementing necessary improvements and strategic adaptation. The client relationship management challenge proved particularly complex because Elena needed to establish personal credibility with sophisticated business leaders who had developed trust in Miguel's expertise and industry reputation over multiple years of successful collaboration. Elena approached this challenge by scheduling individual meetings with major clients to introduce herself as the new owner, while reaffirming her company's commitment to maintaining service excellence and honoring all existing contractual obligations. These meetings provided opportunities for Elena to demonstrate her business acumen while learning about specific client needs and expectations that would inform her strategic planning process. Elena's first client meeting involved a significant municipal infrastructure project that represented substantial revenue and required ongoing coordination with government officials who possessed limited tolerance for operational disruptions or performance deficiencies. Elena prepared extensively for this meeting by reviewing complete project documentation and consulting with her technical staff to ensure comprehensive understanding of project requirements and delivery schedule. The meeting proceeded successfully as Elena demonstrated thorough preparation while establishing personal rapport that suggested continued collaboration would maintain the high performance standards that had characterized Miguel's service delivery. The financial management responsibilities that Elena assumed required immediate attention to cash flow analysis, expense optimization, and strategic investment decisions that would support continued growth while maintaining operational stability during the ownership transition period. Elena applied her MBA education to develop comprehensive financial monitoring systems that provided real-time visibility into business performance, while identifying opportunities for efficiency improvements and strategic investments that would enhance competitive positioning. Elena discovered that Miguel's companies maintained substantial cash reserves and credit facilities that provided financial flexibility for strategic initiatives and operational expansion that could accelerate business growth and market penetration. Elena recognized that these resources represented opportunities for calculated investments that could strengthen competitive advantages while generating improved returns for reinvestment in employee development, technology upgrades, and service expansion that would support long-term sustainability and success. The Employee Development Challenge required Elena to assess individual capabilities and career aspirations while implementing training programs that would enhance overall organizational effectiveness and create advancement opportunities that would improve retention and motivation. Elena conducted individual meetings with all staff members to understand their professional goals and identify areas where additional training or responsibility expansion could benefit both personal development and business performance. These conversations revealed significant untapped potential within the organization that could be developed through systematic investment in education and leadership development. Elena's approach to technology infrastructure evaluation revealed opportunities for system upgrades and integration improvements that could enhance operational efficiency while reducing administrative overhead and improving client service delivery. Elena authorized strategic investments in software upgrades and equipment modernization that would support continued growth while improving workplace productivity and employee satisfaction. These technology improvements demonstrated Elena's commitment to maintaining competitive advantages while investing in organizational capabilities that would support long-term success. The competitive intelligence gathering that Elena initiated provided comprehensive understanding of market dynamics and competitive threats that required ongoing attention and strategic response to maintain market position and growth trajectory. Elena established systematic monitoring of competitor activities and industry trends that would inform strategic planning while identifying emerging opportunities for service expansion and market development that could leverage existing capabilities and client relationships. Elena's first major strategic decision involved pursuing a significant contract opportunity that would require substantial resource commitment while providing access to new market segments and client relationships that could support continued expansion. Elena analyzed the opportunity thoroughly using risk assessment frameworks from her business education while consulting with technical experts to ensure realistic evaluation of service delivery requirements and resource needs. The decision to pursue this contract represented Elena's first major test of strategic judgment and would provide clear indication of her capability to identify and capture growth opportunity. The implementation of Elena's strategic decision required coordinated effort across all operational areas and demanded effective project management that would maintain existing client commitments while pursuing new opportunities that could enhance business performance. Elena established clear accountability structures and communication protocols that ensured systematic execution while providing flexibility for adaptation and problem-solving as implementation challenges emerge. Elena's first month as business owner demonstrated her ability to maintain operational effectiveness while implementing strategic improvements that enhanced organizational performance and competitive position. The successful navigation of initial challenges provided confidence for continued leadership development while establishing credibility with employees, clients, and industry participants who had questioned whether Elena possessed the capabilities necessary for effective management of Miguel's sophisticated business operations. The early success that Elena achieved through systematic preparation, strategic thinking, and collaborative leadership demonstrated that her business education had provided relevant foundation for effective management, while her analytical capabilities and determination enabled rapid adaptation to unfamiliar industry requirements. Elena's transition from administrative assistant to business executive represented validation of her potential for extraordinary achievement when presented with appropriate opportunities and challenges that matched her capabilities and aspirations for meaningful impact. Elena's initial confidence in her ability to seamlessly transition into leadership of Miguel's business empire faced its first serious challenge during the third week of her ownership, when a major client unexpectedly terminated a contract worth $800,000, citing concerns about service continuity under new management. The contract cancellation represented the beginning of a cascade of unexpected obstacles that would test Elena's resilience and strategic thinking capabilities far beyond anything she had encountered during her initial preparation and planning phase. The client who terminated the contract was Municipal Development Corporation of Central Iowa, a government entity that had maintained a partnership with Miguel's companies for 4 years and represented one of the most prestigious relationships within the business portfolio. Elena discovered that despite her successful initial meeting with municipal representative, internal discussions had raised questions about her construction industry experience and ability to deliver specialized coordination services that required deep understanding of regulatory compliance and technical specifications unique to government infrastructure projects. Elena recognized that the contract termination created both immediate financial pressure and broader reputation risk that could influence other clients to reconsider their relationships with her company. The municipal project had been scheduled to generate substantial cash flow over the next 18 months, while providing a high-profile reference that supported new business development efforts. The loss created gap in projected revenue that required immediate strategic response to prevent operational disruptions and employee layoffs that would further damage business credibility. The investigation Elena conducted into the contract cancellation revealed that competitors had actively solicited the municipal account by questioning Elena's qualifications and suggesting that Miguel's death created operational instability that posed risks to project completion and performance standards. Elena discovered that established construction industry networks included informal communication channels that had rapidly disseminated information about ownership transition while casting doubt on her ability to maintain service excellence that clients had come to expect from Miguel's company. Elena's response to this competitive challenge required development of comprehensive reputation management strategy that would address legitimate concerns about her experience while demonstrating commitment to operational excellence that would reassure existing clients and support new biz development efforts. Elena recognized that rebuilding confidence would require demonstrating superior performance on remaining contracts while developing industry relationships that could provide credible endorsements of her capabilities and business approach. The financial analysis Elena conducted following the contract cancellation revealed that cash flow projections required adjustment to account for reduced revenue while maintaining employment levels and operational capabilities necessary for service delivery to remaining clients. Elena faced difficult decisions about expense reduction and strategic investment priorities that would preserve business competitiveness while adapting to reduced revenue that limited options for growth initiatives and employee development programs. Elena's consultation with financial advisors revealed several strategic options for addressing the revenue shortfall, including accelerated collection of outstanding receivables, temporary reduction in discretionary expenses, and pursuit of additional contract opportunities that could offset the canceled municipal project. Elena chose an approach that balanced short-term financial management with long-term strategic positioning by implementing selective expense reductions while increasing investment in business development activities that would accelerate new client acquisition. The employee communication challenge that emerged following the contract cancellation required Elena to address staff concerns about job security while maintaining morale and motivation necessary for superior performance on remaining projects. Elena conducted comprehensive team meetings that provided transparent information about financial impact while reaffirming commitment to employment stability and continued investment in organizational capabilities that would support future growth and advancement opportunity. Elena discovered that several key employees had received recruitment approaches from competitors who suggested that Miguel's death created career uncertainty that warranted consideration of alternative employment opportunities. Elena addressed these concerns directly by implementing enhanced compensation packages and professional development programs that demonstrated long-term commitment to staff retention while providing advancement opportunities that exceeded what competitors could offer. The technology infrastructure problems that had been manageable under Miguel's leadership became critical issues when combined with increased operational pressure and reduced financial flexibility following the contract cancellation. Elena discovered that several key systems required immediate upgrades to maintain reliability, while software licensing agreements needed renegotiation to achieve cost efficiencies that would support improved financial performance during the challenging transition period. Elena's approach to the technology challenges involved strategic partnership with specialized consultants who could provide expertise and implementation support while training internal staff to manage ongoing maintenance and optimization. Elena recognized that technology investment remained essential for competitive positioning despite financial pressure, requiring careful prioritization and implementation planning that would maximize effectiveness while controlling costs. The regulatory compliance challenge that Elena encountered revealed that Miguel had maintained relationships with government officials and regulatory agencies through personal connections that required cultivation and maintenance under new ownership. Elena discovered that several regulatory approvals and license renewals required attention, while new applications needed submission to support planned business development activities in adjacent market segments. Elena's response to regulatory requirements involved hiring specialized legal counsel with expertise in construction industry regulation while developing internal capabilities for ongoing compliance management that would reduce dependence on external consultants and improve operational efficiency. Elena recognized that regulatory competence represented fundamental requirement for business sustainability that warranted immediate attention and systematic development. The supplier relationship management challenge emerged when several key vendors modified payment terms and service arrangements following Miguel's death, citing concerns about financial stability and payment reliability under new ownership. Elena discovered that Miguel had maintained favorable arrangements through personal relationships that required reestablishment under formal business terms that acknowledged changed circumstances while preserving essential supplier partnerships. Elena reached supplier relationship challenges through systematic communication that provided financial transparency while negotiating revised agreements that balanced vendor concerns with business needs for flexible terms and competitive pricing. Elena recognized that supplier partnerships represented critical infrastructure for service delivery that required immediate attention and strategic management to maintain operational capability. The insurance and bonding complications that arose following ownership transition created additional administrative burden and financial pressure when several policies required modification or renewal under Elena's name and business credentials. Elena discovered that insurance carriers and bonding companies required extensive documentation and financial review before approving coverage continuation, while some policies required higher premiums or modified terms that reflected perceived risks associated with management transition. Elena's management of insurance and bonding challenges required extensive documentation and financial disclosure while working with specialized brokers who understood construction industry requirements and could advocate for favorable terms that supported business operations. Elena recognized that insurance and bonding represented essential infrastructure for contract qualification that warranted immediate attention despite administrative complexity and increased costs. The market intelligence that Elena gathered during this challenging period revealed that competitors had interpreted Miguel's death as opportunity to capture market share through aggressive pricing and enhanced service offerings designed to attract clients who might be concerned about service continuity under new management. Elena discovered that maintaining competitive position would require strategic response that demonstrated superior value proposition while addressing legitimate concerns about experience and capability. Elena's strategic response to competitive pressure involved accelerated implementation of service enhancements and operational improvements that would differentiate her companies from competitors while providing tangible evidence of commitment to excellence that exceeded industry standards. Elena recognized that competitive challenges created opportunity to establish distinctive market positioning that could support premium pricing and enhanced profitability when successfully implemented. The comprehensive nature of obstacles that Elena encountered during her first month of business ownership demonstrated that successful transition required simultaneous management of financial, operational, legal, and strategic challenges that demanded capabilities beyond academic preparation and initial planning efforts. Elena recognized that overcoming these obstacles would require resilience, creativity, and systematic problem-solving that would test her commitment to business ownership while providing valuable learning experiences that would strengthen her leadership capabilities for future challenges. Breakthrough moment arrived during her 6th week of business ownership, when a chance encounter at a regional construction industry conference led to the discovery of a market opportunity that would not only compensate for recent contract losses, but establish her companies as innovators within an emerging sector that established competitors had overlooked. The opportunity emerged from Elena's systematic approach to business development, combined with her fresh perspective on industry challenges that Miguel's competitors had accepted as unchangeable constraints. The construction industry conference in Kansas City represented Elena's first major professional networking event since assuming business ownership, and she had prepared extensively to maximize relationship-building opportunities while gathering competitive intelligence about market trends and emerging technology. Elena approached the conference with strategic objectives that included identifying potential clients, evaluating competitive positioning, and exploring partnership opportunities that could strengthen her company's market position and service capability. During a panel discussion about infrastructure modernization challenges, Elena recognized patterns in the speaker's comments that suggested a significant gap between current industry capabilities and emerging client requirements for integrated technology solutions in construction project management. The discussion revealed that traditional construction companies possessed technical expertise in physical building processes, but lacked technological sophistication necessary for comprehensive digital project coordination that government and commercial clients increasingly demanded. Elena's business education provided frameworks for recognizing market gaps and evaluating opportunities for innovative solutions that could create competitive advantages while addressing genuine client needs. Elena understood that the technological gap identified during the panel discussion represented precisely the type of market opportunity that successful entrepreneurs exploited by developing capabilities that addressed evolving customer requirements ahead of established competitors. Following the panel discussion, Elena initiated conversations with several speakers and attendees who had expressed frustration about the technological limitations that prevented their companies from pursuing lucrative contracts that required advanced digital coordination capability. Elena discovered that multiple organizations had lost contract opportunities worth millions of dollars because they could not demonstrate technological competence that increasingly sophisticated clients required for complex infrastructure projects. Elena's analysis of the technological gap revealed that her companies possessed several advantages that could be leveraged to develop innovative solutions ahead of competitors who remained focused on traditional service delivery methods. Miguel's investment in advanced technology infrastructure provided foundation for developing comprehensive digital coordination services, while Elena's business education offered strategic frameworks for systematic market development and service innovation. The specific opportunity that Elena identified involved developing integrated digital project management solutions that combined Miguel's established operational capabilities with advanced technology platforms that could provide real-time coordination, comprehensive documentation, and analytical reporting that exceeded current industry standards. Elena recognized that this service combination would address client requirements that no single competitor currently satisfied while leveraging existing strengths that provided sustainable competitive advantages. Research into the technological solution requirements revealed that successful implementation would require partnership with specialized software development firms and significant investment in training and system integration that would transform her company's service delivery capability. However, Elena also discovered that the investment requirements remained manageable given Miguel's strong financial position, while the potential returns justified strategic resource allocation that could establish market leadership in emerging sectors. The breakthrough insight that defined Elena's strategic approach came from recognizing that her companies could become preferred vendors for government infrastructure projects by developing technological capabilities that addressed regulatory compliance and documentation requirements that traditional contractors found burdensome and unprofitable. Elena understood that government clients valued vendors who could navigate complex regulatory environments while maintaining superior performance standards and comprehensive documentation that satisfied auditing requirements. Elena's development of the digital coordination solution strategy involved systematic analysis of client requirements, competitive capabilities, and technology options that could support comprehensive service delivery while maintaining cost efficiency and operational reliability. Elena applied strategic planning methodologies from her business education to develop implementation timelines and resource allocation plans that would enable rapid market entry while managing risks associated with technology investment and service innovation. The partnership development process that Elena initiated involved identifying and evaluating technology firms that possessed relevant capabilities while sharing strategic vision for transforming construction industry service delivery through innovative digital solutions. Elena discovered that several emerging technology companies had developed construction industry applications but lacked access to established operational capabilities and client relationships that would enable market penetration and sustainable growth. Elena's negotiation of strategic partnerships demonstrated sophisticated understanding of collaboration structures that could benefit all participants while preserving competitive advantages and operational flexibility for her company. Elena developed partnership agreements that provided access to advanced technology platforms while maintaining control over client relationships and service delivery standards that defined her company's market reputation and competitive position. The financial analysis that Elena conducted regarding the digital coordination initiative revealed that implementation would require substantial upfront investment in technology licensing, staff training, and system integration, while generating limited revenue during initial development phases. However, Elena's projections indicated that successful implementation could increase contract values by substantial margins while expanding addressable market opportunities that would support accelerated growth and enhanced profitability. Elena's presentation of the digital coordination strategy to her management team demonstrated her evolution from cautious new owner to confident strategic leader who could identify and pursue transformational opportunities that would strengthen competitive positioning while creating advancement opportunities for all employees. Elena's strategic vision impressed senior staff members who recognized that the proposed initiative represented sophisticated market analysis and innovative thinking that exceeded expectations for someone with limited construction industry experience. The employee response to Elena's strategic initiative proposal revealed enthusiasm for participating in industry innovation that would enhance professional development opportunities while positioning the organization as technology leader within traditional industry sectors. Elena discovered that several staff members possessed relevant technical backgrounds and expressed interest in expanded responsibilities that would support digital coordination implementation while advancing their career development within the organization. Elena's market validation research involved systematic outreach to prospective clients who could benefit from advanced digital coordination services while providing feedback about specific requirements and performance expectations that would guide service development and market position. Elena discovered that multiple government entities and commercial developers had been searching for vendors who could provide comprehensive digital solutions, but had found existing options inadequate for complex project requirements. The competitive analysis that Elena conducted during strategy development revealed that established construction companies had generally avoided technology investment because they perceived digital coordination as administrative burden rather than value creation opportunity. Elena recognized that this competitive blind spot created market opening that could be exploited by organizations willing to invest in technological capabilities that addressed genuine client needs while differentiating service delivery from traditional approaches. Elena's implementation planning for the Digital Coordination Initiative involved detailed project management that coordinated technology deployment, staff training, marketing development, and client outreach activities within integrated timeline that would enable systematic market entry while maintaining operational excellence on existing contracts. Elena applied project management methodologies from her business education to ensure comprehensive preparation and coordinated execution that would maximize success probability while managing implementation risk. The breakthrough nature of Elena's strategic initiative extended beyond immediate business development to establish her credibility as an innovative leader who could identify and pursue transformational opportunities that competitors had overlooked. Elena's success in developing sophisticated market strategy while managing complex implementation challenges demonstrated capabilities that validated her potential for extraordinary achievement within construction industry leadership role. Elena's confidence in pursuing the digital coordination opportunity represented fundamental transformation from defensive reaction to market challenges toward proactive strategy development that would create sustainable competitive advantages while expanding market opportunity. Elena recognized that successful implementation would establish her companies as industry innovators while providing foundation for continued growth and achievement that could impact the broader construction industry throughout the region. Elena's Digital Coordination Initiative generated results that exceeded her most optimistic projections within 3 months of implementation, transforming her companies from regional construction service providers into recognized technology innovators whose integrated solutions attracted attention from major developers and government agencies throughout the success created momentum that accelerated contract acquisition while establishing Elena's reputation as visionary leader who could deliver sophisticated solutions that addressed complex project requirements through innovative technology application. The first major contract, secured through Elena's digital coordination capabilities, involved a municipal infrastructure modernization project worth $2.4 million that required comprehensive technology integration, regulatory compliance documentation, and real-time progress monitoring that traditional contractors could not provide effectively. Elena's companies won the competitive bidding process by demonstrating superior technological capabilities while maintaining cost competitiveness that made their proposal irresistible to budget-conscious government decision-makers. Elena's management of the municipal infrastructure project established new performance standards that impressed both clients and industry observers, who recognized that her companies had achieved operational excellence that combined technical expertise with technological sophistication in ways that created tangible value for all project stakeholders. The project completion generated testimonials and referrals that supported accelerated business development, while positioning Elena's companies as preferred vendors for similar complex projects throughout the region. The success of Elena's initial digital coordination implementation created demand for expanded service offerings that required strategic decisions about growth management and capability development that would support sustainable expansion while maintaining quality standards that defined her company's market reputation. Elena faced the challenge of scaling operations to meet increasing demand while preserving the operational excellence and client focus that had enabled initial breakthrough success. Elena's approach to growth management involved systematic analysis of capacity requirements and strategic investment in personnel, technology, and operational infrastructure that would support expanded service delivery while maintaining the efficiency and quality standards that differentiated her companies from competitors. Elena supplied scaling strategies from her business education to develop expansion plans that balanced growth opportunities
with operational sustainability and risk management considerations. The employee development initiatives that Elena implemented during the expansion phase demonstrated her commitment to creating advancement opportunities that would attract and retain talented professionals while building organizational capabilities that supported continued innovation and service excellence.
Elena established comprehensive training programs, mentorship relationships, and career advancement pathways that positioned her companies as preferred employers within specialized market segments that required advanced technical and analytical capabilities. Elena's recruitment strategy focused on identifying professionals who possessed both technical expertise and strategic thinking capabilities that could contribute to continued innovation while supporting the collaborative culture that enabled superior performance on complex projects. Elena discovered that her company's reputation for innovation and excellence attracted high-quality candidates who sought challenging opportunities that utilized their full capabilities while providing meaningful contribution to important regional development initiatives. The technology infrastructure expansion that Elena authorized during the growth phase represented strategic investment in advanced capabilities that would support continued service innovation while maintaining competitive advantages that prevented market share erosion to competitors who attempted to replicate her digital coordination approach. Elena recognized that sustained technology leadership required ongoing investment and development that stayed ahead of competitive responses while addressing evolving client requirements. Elena's partnership development efforts expanded beyond initial technology collaborations to include strategic relationships with complementary service providers who could support comprehensive project delivery while maintaining Elena's company's position as primary client contact and project coordinator. Elena developed partnership networks that enhanced service capabilities while preserving client relationships and maintaining premium pricing that reflected superior value delivery. The financial performance improvement that resulted from Elena's strategic initiatives enabled reinvestment in business development activities that accelerated market penetration while supporting continued innovation and capability enhancement that strengthened competitive positioning. Elena's companies achieved profit margins that exceeded industry averages while generating cash flow that supported aggressive expansion and technology investment without requiring external financing or equity dilution. Elena's market expansion strategy involved geographic diversification that leveraged established capabilities and reputation to penetrate adjacent markets where similar client requirements created opportunities for service replication and scaling. Elena identified market opportunities in neighboring states where government infrastructure investment and commercial development created demand for sophisticated coordination services that her companies could provide effectively. The industry recognition that Elena's companies received through professional associations and trade publications established her reputation as innovative leader who had transformed traditional construction industry approaches through strategic technology integration and operational excellence. Elena's speaking engagements at industry conferences provided platforms for sharing insights while generating business development opportunities that supported continued growth and market expansion. Elena's strategic planning process evolved to incorporate longer-term vision development, extended beyond immediate growth opportunities, to consider transformational initiatives that could establish her companies as regional industry leaders while creating sustainable competitive advantages that would support decades of continued success. Elena developed strategic frameworks that balanced ambitious growth objectives with operational sustainability and risk management consideration. The client relationship management sophistication that Elena developed during the expansion phase enabled systematic account development and service enhancement that increased contract values while strengthening client loyalty and generating referral opportunities that supported organic growth. Elena implemented customer relationship management systems that provided comprehensive visibility into client needs and preferences while supporting proactive service delivery that exceeded expectations consistently. Elena's approach to competitive positioning involved continuous innovation and service enhancement that maintained technological leadership while building operational capabilities that created barriers to competitive entry. Alina recognized that sustained success required ongoing investment in capability development and market positioning that stayed ahead of competitive responses while addressing evolving client requirements and market dynamics. The operational excellence standards that Alina established during the expansion phase created systematic quality management and performance monitoring that ensured consistent service delivery, while supporting continuous improvement initiatives that enhanced efficiency and client satisfaction. Alina implemented process documentation and training systems that preserved institutional knowledge while enabling knowledge transfer and capability replication across expanded operations. Alina's financial management sophistication expanded to include comprehensive strategic planning and investment analysis that supported informed decision-making about growth opportunities and resource allocation priorities. Alina developed financial monitoring and forecasting systems that provided real-time visibility into business performance while supporting strategic decision-making and risk management that protected business sustainability during rapid expansion phases. The leadership development that Alina experienced during the escalating success phase transformed her from competent business owner to recognized industry leader whose strategic vision and operational excellence influenced broader industry approaches to technology integration and service innovation. Alina's evolution demonstrated that systematic preparation, strategic thinking, and dedicated execution could enable extraordinary achievement within competitive business environments that rewarded innovation and excellence. Alina's recognition of the broader impact that her success created for employees, clients, and communities provided motivation for continued growth and innovation that extended beyond personal achievement to encompass meaningful contribution to regional economic development and industry advancement. Alina understood that her company's success created employment, opportunities, and economic value that benefited numerous stakeholders while establishing foundation for continued positive impact through strategic growth and community engagement initiatives. Alina's unprecedented success in transforming Miguel's construction empire into a regional technology leader faced its most severe test when a coordinated competitive assault threatened to undermine 18 months of careful relationship building and operational excellence. The crisis emerged during Alina's peak performance period, when her companies had achieved recognition as preferred vendors for sophisticated infrastructure projects throughout the Midwest, making the threat particularly devastating because it attacked the foundation of trust and credibility that enabled premium pricing and client loyalty. The crisis began when Alina discovered that three major competitors had formed a strategic alliance, specifically designed to challenge her company's market position through aggressive pricing, legislative lobbying, and systematic client communication that questioned the sustainability of Alina's technological advantages. The competitive coalition represented established firms with substantial resources and decades of industry relationships who viewed Alina's rapid success as existential threat that required coordinated response to preserve their traditional market dominance. Alina learned about the competitive alliance through industry contacts, who expressed concern about lobbying efforts aimed at establishing regulatory requirements that would favor traditional construction approaches while creating barriers to the technological integration that distinguished Alina's service delivery. The proposed regulations would require costly certification processes and compliance documentation that would eliminate the cost advantages and operational flexibility that enabled Alina's companies to compete effectively against larger established firms. The financial impact of the competitive assault became apparent when Alina discovered that several major clients had received proposals offering services at pricing levels that appeared below reasonable profit margins, suggesting that competitors were willing to accept losses in order to regain market share and force Alina's companies into unsustainable pricing competition. The predatory pricing strategy threatened to eliminate the profit margins that funded Alina's technology investment and employee development programs, while forcing difficult decisions about operational sustainability. Alina's analysis of the competitive threat revealed sophisticated coordination among alliance members who had divided market segments and synchronized their attacks to maximize pressure on Alina's companies while minimizing their own internal competition. The strategy demonstrated that her success had attracted serious attention from industry leaders who possessed sufficient resources and strategic sophistication to mount comprehensive challenges that extended beyond simple price competition to encompass regulatory, technological, and relationship warfare. The lobbying efforts that Alina's competitors had initiated represented a particularly dangerous threat because they sought to establish industry standards that would retroactively invalidate the technological approaches that provided Alina's competitive advantage. The proposed regulations would require extensive documentation and certification processes that would increase operational costs while reducing the flexibility and responsiveness that enabled Alina's companies to deliver superior value to sophisticated clients who valued innovation and efficiency. Alina discovered that the competitive alliance had allocated substantial resources to influence government procurement policies and industry regulation development through lobbying firms that specialized in construction industry advocacy. The lobbying efforts included campaign contributions and relationship development with key decision-makers who possessed authority to establish procurement requirements that could effectively exclude Alina's companies from major contract opportunities. The client relationship pressure that accompanied the competitive assault created immediate stress on Alina's business development efforts when several prospective clients delayed contract decisions while evaluating conflicting claims about service quality, technological reliability, and long-term sustainability of different vendors. Alina recognized that the uncertainty generated by competitive attacks could damage her company's growth trajectory, even if the specific claims proved unfounded. Alina's investigation into competitor strategies revealed systematic attempts to recruit key employees from her organization through compensation offers that substantially exceeded market rates and included signing bonuses designed to accelerate departures during critical project phases. The employee recruitment efforts targeted technical specialists and client relationship managers whose departures would disrupt service delivery, while providing competitors with insider knowledge about Alina's operational methods and client relationships. The technology infrastructure attacks that Alina discovered represented sophisticated attempts to undermine the digital coordination systems that provided her company's competitive advantages through cybersecurity threats, patent challenges, and vendor relationship interference designed to increase costs and reduce reliability of critical technology platforms. Alina realized that competitors had identified technology dependence as potential vulnerability that could be exploited through systematic pressure on her technology partners and service providers. Alina faced the additional challenge of managing internal organizational stress created by competitive pressure while maintaining employee morale and client confidence during a period when external attacks created uncertainty about business sustainability and growth prospects. Alina recognized that crisis management would require transparent communication and decisive strategic response that demonstrated leadership capability while preserving the operational excellence that had enabled initial success. The financial pressure created by predatory pricing and increased operational costs threatened to force Alina into defensive strategies that would reduce investment in innovation and growth initiatives while potentially requiring employee reductions that would damage organizational capabilities and market reputation. Alina understood that successful crisis navigation would require strategic responses that maintained offensive positioning while addressing immediate threats that could undermine business sustainability. Alina's assessment of available strategic options revealed that effective response to the competitive assault would require simultaneous defensive and offensive initiatives that protected existing market position while accelerating expansion into market segments where competitors possessed fewer advantages. Alina recognized that crisis response strategies would need to leverage her company's technological advantages while developing new capabilities that could create sustainable differentiation. The legal analysis that Alina commissioned regarding competitor activities revealed potential violations of antitrust regulations and unfair competition practices that could provide grounds for legal action while generating public attention that might discourage continued aggressive behavior. Alina discovered that coordinated predatory pricing and market manipulation efforts by competitor alliances created legal vulnerabilities that could be exploited through strategic litigation and regulatory complaint. Alina's crisis response planning involved comprehensive evaluation of financial resources, operational capabilities, and strategic options that could enable effective competition against well-funded opponents, while preserving the innovation and excellence that had enabled extraordinary success. Alina applied crisis management frameworks from her business education to develop systematic approaches that balanced immediate threat response with long-term strategic positioning. The employee communication strategy that Alina implemented during the crisis emphasized transparency about challenges while reaffirming commitment to organizational values and growth objectives that would create continued advancement opportunities for all team members. Alina recognized that successful crisis navigation required maintaining internal unity and motivation while demonstrating leadership capability that would inspire confidence during uncertain periods. Alina's client communication approach involved proactive outreach that addressed competitive claims while providing evidence of continued performance, excellence, and technological advancement that reinforced value propositions and strengthened relationship foundation. Alina understood that client confidence would be crucial for maintaining market position while pursuing growth opportunities that could offset competitive pressure and establish stronger market positioning. The crisis management challenges that Alina faced during this period tested every aspect of her leadership development while requiring strategic thinking and decision-making under extreme pressure that exceeded anything she had encountered during her business education or previous professional experience. Alina recognized that successful crisis navigation would demonstrate her evolution from promising newcomer to seasoned executive capable of managing complex challenges while maintaining strategic vision and operational excellence. Alina understood that the competitive crisis represented both existential threat and transformational opportunity that could establish her companies as dominant market leaders if successfully navigated through strategic response that leveraged advantages while neutralizing competitor strength. Alina recognized that crisis resolution would require courage, innovation, and systematic execution that would test every capability she had developed while providing foundation for continued extraordinary achievement. The predatory pricing assault from Alina's competitors achieved its intended psychological impact during the fourth week of sustained pressure, when the cumulative effect of financial strain, employee uncertainty, and client hesitation created internal doubt that challenged every assumption Alina had maintained about her capabilities and strategic judgment. The crisis had evolved beyond external threats to encompass fundamental questions about whether her rapid success had been sustainable achievement or temporary fortune that competitors could eliminate through superior resources and strategic coordination. Alina found herself questioning decisions that had previously represented clear strategic victory, wondering whether her technological focus had created vulnerable dependence rather than competitive advantage when faced with opponents who possessed sufficient resources to wage sustained economic warfare. The systematic nature of competitor attacks had revealed that industry disruption carried consequences that extended beyond market competition to encompass personal and professional risks that Alina had not fully appreciated during her initial success phases. The financial analysis that Alina conducted during this period revealed troubling trends in cash flow, profit margins, and client retention that suggested the competitive assault was achieving measurable impact despite her strategic response effort. Alina discovered that maintaining technological leadership while competing against predatory pricing required resource allocation that strained operational sustainability while reducing flexibility for defensive maneuvers and strategic adaptation. The mathematical reality of sustained competition against well-funded opponents created pressure that academic preparation had not adequately addressed. Alina's isolation during the crisis intensified when several industry colleagues, who had previously offered support and collaboration, began maintaining professional distance that suggested concern about association with her company's
during uncertain periods. Lena recognized that business relationships often reflected pragmatic consideration rather than personal loyalty, but the experience of watching professional networks withdraw support during challenging times created emotional stress that compounded strategic decision-making difficulty. The employee retention challenges that Elena faced during this period created additional pressure when key staff members began expressing concerns about career security and advancement opportunities within organizations facing sustained competitive attack. Lena understood that employee confidence reflected realistic assessment of business sustainability, but managing talent retention while addressing financial pressure and strategic uncertainty required leadership capabilities that exceeded her previous experience and academic preparation. Lena's personal financial situation became precarious when business cash flow constraints required her to defer personal compensation while maintaining employee salaries and operational expenses necessary for service delivery and competitive response. Lena had never experienced personal financial insecurity since assuming business ownership, and the return to budget constraints and payment uncertainty created psychological stress that challenged her confidence in strategic decision-making and long-term planning capability. The sleep deprivation and stress that accompanied crisis management began affecting Elena's cognitive performance and emotional stability in ways that interfered with the analytical thinking and strategic clarity that had enabled her previous success. Lena discovered that sustained high-pressure decision-making created cumulative fatigue that reduced effectiveness while increasing the likelihood of errors that could compound existing challenges and create additional problems, requiring attention and resource allocation. Lena's relationship with her management team became strained when the sustained pressure and uncertain outcomes created disagreements about strategic priorities and tactical implementation that had not emerged during previous growth phases. Lena faced the challenge of maintaining leadership authority while acknowledging limitations in her crisis management experience and accepting input from team members who possessed different perspectives about appropriate response strategies and risk tolerance levels. The technology infrastructure that had provided Elena's competitive advantages became source of additional stress when maintenance costs and upgrade requirements continued, regardless of revenue pressures, while competitor attacks threatened vendor relationships and service reliability. Lena recognized that technology dependence created ongoing obligations that could not be easily reduced during financial constraints, while abandoning technological leadership would eliminate the differentiation that enabled premium pricing and client preference. Lena's analysis of strategic options during this period revealed that every available response involved significant risk and resource commitment without guaranteeing successful resolution of the competitive crisis. Lena faced choices between defensive strategies that would preserve existing capabilities while accepting market share loss, offensive strategies that would accelerate expansion while increasing financial exposure, hybrid approaches that might prove inadequate for addressing the sustained competitive pressure. The legal proceedings that Elena had initiated against competitor alliance activities provided limited immediate relief while consuming substantial financial and emotional resources that diverted attention from operational management and strategic planning activity. Lena discovered that legal action required extensive documentation, expert testimony, and procedural compliance that created additional administrative burden during periods when management attention was already stretched beyond sustainable levels. Lena's consideration of exit strategies became unavoidable when the sustained competitive pressure and financial strain reached levels that threatened operational sustainability and employee welfare. Lena faced the possibility that preserving business value might require strategic sale or partnership arrangements that would maintain employment while transferring ownership control to entities with greater resources for sustained competition against established industry players. The emotional complexity of contemplating business sale or control transfer created internal conflict between Elena's determination to continue fighting for the success she had built and her responsibility to employees and clients who depended upon business sustainability, regardless of ownership structure. Lena recognized that ego and personal attachment could interfere with objective assessment of strategic alternatives, while delayed decision-making might reduce available options and negotiating leverage. Legal reflection during this period revealed that her business success had become central to her identity in ways that made contemplating failure or significant strategic change emotionally devastating beyond rational financial considerations. Elena understood that entrepreneurial achievement provided personal validation and professional recognition that would be difficult to replace through alternative career paths, while the psychological impact of business failure might affect her confidence and willingness to pursue future ambitious goals. The isolation that Elena experienced, the crisis extended beyond professional relationships to encompass personal connections, when friends and family members struggled to understand the complexity of business challenges and provide meaningful support during a period when external validation and encouragement were particularly important. Lena discovered that entrepreneurial stress created communication barriers that interfered with personal relationships, while the demanding schedule and emotional pressure reduced availability for social activities and relationship maintenance. Lena's spiritual and philosophical wrestling during this period involved confronting fundamental questions about fairness, persistence, and the relationship between effort and outcomes that academic preparation had not addressed adequately. Lena wondered whether extraordinary effort and strategic excellence guaranteed success, or whether external factors beyond individual control could overwhelm personal capabilities and determination, regardless of preparation, quality, and execution effectiveness. The memory review process that Elena undertook during her darkest moments included systematic examination of her journey from struggling widow to regional business leader, searching for patterns and insights that might provide guidance for current challenges, while identifying sources of strength and resilience that could support continued effort despite uncertain outcomes. Lena recognized that her transformation had involved overcoming numerous obstacles and developing capabilities that provided foundation for current challenges. Elena's recollection of Miguel's entrepreneurial achievement provided perspective about the risks and challenges that successful business development required, while reinforcing her understanding that extraordinary success often involved navigating crises that tested commitment and capabilities beyond normal experience. Lena realized that Miguel's hidden business empire had probably faced similar competitive pressures and strategic challenges that required persistence and innovation, despite uncertain outcomes and substantial personal risk. The gradual emergence from Elena's darkest period began when system analysis of competitor behavior revealed that the sustained assault was creating financial strain for alliance members who were accepting losses to maintain predatory pricing, while their own operations faced pressure from reduced profitability and resource allocation inefficiency. Lena discovered that competitive warfare imposed costs on all participants, while the alliance coordination required compromise and resource sharing that created internal tensions among traditionally competitive organizations. Lena was Anna's recognition that competitors were also experiencing stress and strategic challenges, provided renewed confidence in her ability to sustain resistance while developing offensive strategies that could exploit alliance weaknesses and coordination difficulties. Lena understood that successful crisis navigation required identifying opponent vulnerabilities while maximizing her own advantages through strategic focus and operational excellence that created sustainable differentiation. The wisdom that Elena gained through confronting her deepest doubts and fears included enhanced understanding of personal resilience, strategic thinking under pressure, and the importance of maintaining long-term perspective during periods when immediate circumstances suggested overwhelming challenges. Lena recognized that crisis experience had strengthened her leadership capabilities while providing insights about business sustainability and competitive strategy that would benefit future decision-making and strategic planning activities. Elena's emerging understanding of the crisis transformational opportunity rather than existential threat represented fundamental shift in perspective that enabled renewed strategic thinking and offensive planning focused on creating sustainable competitive advantages that would discourage future coordinated attacks while establishing market position that could support continued growth and industry leadership development. Elena's emergence from the crisis darkness brought profound understanding about leadership, resilience, and strategic thinking that transformed her approach to business management and competitive positioning in ways that would define her continued success throughout the remainder of her entrepreneurial journey. The wisdom gained through confronting her deepest fears and operational challenges provided foundation for strategic innovation and tactical execution that exceeded anything she had achieved during her initial success phases. The self-knowledge that Elena developed through crisis management revealed previously unrecognized strengths in analytical thinking under pressure, emotional regulation during uncertainty, and strategic adaptation when conventional approaches proved inadequate for addressing complex challenges. Elena discovered that her academic preparation had provided theoretical frameworks that proved remarkably applicable to real-world crisis navigation, while her natural analytical capabilities enabled systematic problem-solving that generated innovative solutions when traditional approaches failed.
Elena's enhanced understanding of her own decision-making processes included recognition that her most effective strategic choices emerged from combining comprehensive analysis with intuitive assessment of patterns and relationships that pure logical evaluation could not capture adequately. Elena learned to trust analytical insights while incorporating emotional intelligence and situational awareness that provided broader perspective about stakeholder motivations, competitive dynamics, and market evolution patterns. The perspective broadening that Elena experienced during the crisis period enabled recognition that her business challenges existed within larger contexts of regional economic development, industry transformation, and technological innovation that created opportunities for strategic positioning and market influence beyond immediate competitive concerns. Elena understood that successful entrepreneurs often achieved extraordinary impact by identifying their role within broader economic and social systems, while leveraging their capabilities to create value that extended beyond immediate business objectives. Elena's empathy development, through personal experience of financial stress, operational uncertainty, and competitive pressure, created deeper understanding of employee concerns, client decision-making processes, and vendor relationship dynamics that informed more effective communication and negotiation strategy. Elena recognized that shared experience of challenge and uncertainty created authentic connection and trust that could not be replicated through theoretical understanding or academic preparation alone. The resilience strengthening that Elena achieved through sustained crisis management provided confidence in her ability to navigate future challenges while maintaining operational effectiveness and strategic clarity regardless of external pressure or uncertain outcome. Elena discovered that successful crisis navigation created psychological resources and strategic capabilities that remained available for addressing subsequent challenges, while providing evidence of personal and organizational capacity for extraordinary achievement under adverse conditions. Elena's relationship evaluation during the crisis period revealed important distinctions between connections based on convenience or mutual benefit versus relationships founded on shared values, genuine respect, and commitment to mutual success regardless of temporary circumstance. Elena learned to identify and cultivate professional relationships that provided authentic support during challenging periods, while recognizing that some connections would naturally fluctuate based on pragmatic considerations rather than personal loyalty. The priority clarification that emerged from Elena's crisis experience established clear hierarchy of values and objectives that guided decision-making when competing interests required difficult choices about resource allocation and strategic focus. Elena understood that sustainable success required consistent alignment between personal values, business practices, and strategic objectives, while maintaining flexibility for tactical adaptation within clearly defined ethical and operational parameters. Elena's method refinement through crisis experience resulted in enhanced approaches to strategic planning, financial management, and operational execution that incorporated lessons learned about risk assessment, contingency planning, and stakeholder communication during uncertain periods. Elena developed systematic processes for evaluating strategic options while maintaining operational excellence that proved more effective than previous approaches that had not been tested under severe pressure. The value integration that Elena achieved through confronting fundamental questions about purpose, persistence, and success created deeper understanding of the relationship between business achievement and personal fulfillment that informed long-term strategic planning and daily operational decision-making. Elena recognized its extraordinary business success required alignment between professional activities and personal values, while creating meaningful impact that extended beyond financial achievement to encompass community development and industry advancement. Elena's gratitude development through crisis experience included recognition of support systems, opportunities, and capabilities that had enabled her survival and eventual recovery from sustained competitive assault. Elena understood that acknowledging sources of strength and assistance created emotional resilience while maintaining perspective about the collaborative nature of business success that involved contributions from employees, clients, vendors, and community members who supported her achievement. The strategic thinking evolution that Elena experienced involved enhanced capability for systems analysis, competitive assessment, and market positioning that incorporated understanding of industry dynamics, regulatory environment, and technological trends that influenced long-term business sustainability and growth potential. Elena developed frameworks for evaluating complex strategic decisions that balanced multiple stakeholder interests while maintaining focus on core business objectives and competitive advantage. Elena's leadership philosophy development through crisis management incorporated understanding that effective leadership required authentic communication, transparent decision-making, and consistent demonstration of competence and integrity that created trust and confidence among employees, clients, and business partners. Elena learned that leadership credibility emerged through consistent performance excellence and ethical behavior rather than positional authority or academic credentials alone. The innovation mindset that Elena cultivated during crisis response involved system approach to identifying problems and developing creative solutions that leveraged available resources while addressing genuine stakeholder needs through practical implementation that could be executed effectively within existing operational constraints. Elena understood that innovation often emerged from necessity and resource constraints, rather than abundant resources and unlimited options. Elena's financial wisdom development included sophisticated understanding of cash flow management, strategic investment, and risk assessment that enabled sustainable growth while maintaining operational flexibility for addressing unexpected challenges or pursuing emergent opportunities. Elena learned to balance aggressive growth strategies with conservative financial management that preserved business sustainability while maximizing potential for extraordinary achievement and market impact. The communication excellence that Elena developed through crisis management involved enhanced capability for stakeholder engagement, conflict resolution, and persuasive presentation that enabled effective coordination of complex projects while maintaining strong relationships with diverse constituencies who possessed different priorities and communication preferences. Elena recognized that communication effectiveness often determines success in business negotiations, employee management, and client relationship development. Elena's market understanding deepened through crisis experience to encompass comprehensive knowledge of competitive dynamics, customer behavior patterns, and industry evolution trends that informed strategic positioning and tactical decision-making for sustainable competitive advantage development. Elena learned to anticipate market changes while maintaining operational flexibility that enabled rapid adaptation to emerging opportunities and threats. The operational excellence standards that Elena established through crisis experience incorporated systematic quality management, performance monitoring, and continuous improvement processes that ensured consistent service delivery while supporting scalable growth and competitive differentiation. Elena understood that operational reliability provided foundation for strategic innovation while creating client confidence that supported premium pricing and long-term relationship development. Elena's risk management sophistication involved comprehensive frameworks for evaluating threats and opportunities while developing contingency plans that preserved business sustainability during uncertain periods while maintaining capability for pursuing aggressive growth when market conditions supported expansion. Elena learned to balance calculated risk-taking with prudent protection of core business assets and capability. The mentor wisdom that Elena gained through her crisis experience positioned her to provide guidance and support for other entrepreneurs who faced similar challenges, while contributing to industry knowledge development and community economic development initiatives. Elena recognized that sharing lessons learned through crisis navigation created value for broader business community while establishing reputation for thought leadership and expertise that supported continued business development. Elena's integration of wisdom gained through crisis experience resulted in enhanced strategic capabilities, operational effectiveness, and leadership competence that provided foundation for sustained extraordinary achievement, while creating positive impact for employees, client communities that extended far beyond immediate business objectives. Elena understood that wisdom gained through adversity represented permanent asset that would benefit all future endeavors, while enabling contribution to others who faced similar challenges and opportunities for transformational growth and achievement. Elena's strategic comeback began implementation of innovative counteroffensive tactics that leveraged the wisdom gained during her darkest period while exploiting weaknesses in competitor alliance coordination that had become apparent through systematic intelligence gathering and market analysis. The comprehensive strategy that Elena developed demonstrated sophisticated understanding of competitive dynamics while incorporating lessons learned about resilience, strategic adaptation, and stakeholder management that would establish her companies as dominant market leaders throughout the region. The resource mobilization effort that Elena orchestrated involved leveraging relationships, reputation, and renewed credibility to access financial capital, technical expertise, and strategic partnerships that had not been available during the crisis peak, when uncertainty about business sustainability had created reluctance among potential allies and investors. Elena discovered that successful crisis navigation had enhanced her credibility within business and financial communities, while demonstrating leadership capabilities that attracted high-quality partners and advisors who recognized extraordinary potential for continued growth and market impact. Elena's team rebuilding initiative focused on recruiting exceptional talent who possessed both technical expertise and strategic thinking capabilities that could contribute to sustained competitive advantage development, while sharing commitment to innovation and excellence that define organizational culture. Elena applied enhanced judgment, developed through crisis experience, to identify professionals who would thrive in demanding environments, while maintaining collaborative approaches that supported comprehensive service delivery and client satisfaction. The innovation application strategy that Elena implemented involved developing proprietary solutions that addressed identified market gaps while creating sustainable competitive advantages that would discourage future coordinated attacks from competitor alliances. Elena recognized that technological leadership required continuous advancement and strategic protection through patent development, trade secret management, and partnership structures that preserved competitive differentiation while enabling scalable growth and market expansion. Elena's communication improvement manifested through enhanced ability to articulate vision, strategic objectives, and value propositions to diverse audiences, including employees, clients, investors, and industry stakeholders who required different messaging approaches and persuasion strategies. Elena discovered that crisis experience had clarified her thinking, while emotional growth had enhanced ability to connect authentically with stakeholders whose support was essential for sustained success and strategic objective achievement. The execution discipline that Elena demonstrated involved concentrated focus on activities that produced measurable progress towards specific strategic goals, while eliminating distractions and resource allocation inefficiencies that had previously reduced operational effectiveness. Elena applied systematic project management and performance monitoring that ensured accountability while maintaining flexibility for strategic adaptation based on market feedback and competitive intelligence. Elena's stakeholder engagement strategy incorporated deeper understanding of client needs, employee motivations, and vendor concerns that had been revealed through crisis experience, while developing systematic approaches to relationship management that strengthened loyalty and collaboration across all business constituents. Elena recognized that sustainable competitive advantages often emerged from superior stakeholder relationships rather than technological capabilities alone. The progress measurement systems that Elena established provided sophisticated monitoring of strategic objective achievement, operational performance, and competitive positioning through metrics that enabled early identification of trends and problems before they became critical challenges requiring crisis management intervention. Elena developed dashboard reporting and analytical frameworks that supported informed decision-making while maintaining strategic focus on long-term objectives. Elena's adaptive capacity demonstration involved successful modification of strategies and tactics based on market evolution and competitive responses without losing sight of fundamental business objectives and core value propositions that defined competitive differentiation. Elena understood that strategic flexibility required systematic monitoring and rapid response capabilities while maintaining operational consistencies that supported client confidence and employee effectiveness. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.